Today we will go with the casting process. It will be the first portion if you are going for manufacturing process or technology all over the India. So we'll go to manufacturing process. Before we go into the manufacturing process, particularly for casting, I want to give some little overview about manufacturing process. Right, there is casting is zero process. What is that thing? Let me check. Okay, if you are taking X amount of material, you can put it in, you can melt and you can put it in the cavity, right? You can melt and you can put it in the cavity, so output also you will get how much amount of material you have taken. Okay, so volume, initial volume, let us take V1 and the output product having the volume of V2. If you are comparing the both, you will get the same volume. V1 is equal to V2. There is very minimum or negligible amount of material may be removed or thrown or wasted. Let us go to the second one, forming process. If you are taking X amount of material, you can use any forming tool. You can convert all the materials into useful work, and during the finishing operation you may remove some materials. If you're still confusing with the first one, you can go with the second one. How it's taken: you take V1 as a initial condition, you are continuously putting these things to the press, and you can see output, you have a nice sheet. There is no material wastage, so we call this zero process, and this one also zero process. Let us go for machining process. Initially you're taking one rod and you're going for facing, that means some amount of material is removed. If you're seeing here taper portion, some material is removed, and here also boring, drilling, etc. Let us compare the volume of the initial and the final. Initial volume V1, final volume is V2, so final volume will be very less as compared to the initial volume. So this is called negative process. Okay, then what about the welding? Welding, if you are using fuller material, we are going to add some third element over the welded joints, so material is going to add after the process. So if you are comparing the volume of initial and final, most of the cases volume of 2 will be high, so that is positive manufacturing process. You should know this simple phenomena before you going to start the manufacturing process lesson. Okay, now we are going to casting. Casting is nothing but you're going to melt the material, pour it into the recurved shape. Once it is cured, you're going to take the material out and you're going to clean it and you're going to use it. Okay, so what are the steps? Casting is pattern making. Yes, the shape which you want, you have to make it as a pattern. Okay, ditto of the shape. You can make it as any material. Upcoming slide we will see what are the pattern materials and what are the things. Then obtaining the casting geometry. By using the pattern, you have to make the geometry or shape in the casting sand, or you can use any other casting process. Then if you want, you can go for core making or molding. Core making means if you want to make any hollow section, you need core, otherwise you just go for molding, that's okay. If you have alloy or any other material, just melt it, then you pour it into the shape which you made it in the sand. So wait for some time. When solidification is over, when cooling down is over, then you can remove the crack the mold, and you can take the casting or the product which you want, you can take, clean it. Finally you have to go for quality check. Right, so the same thing also I given in the right hand side. If you want, you can study that one. It's a simple thing, right? So what are the tools we are using? We should know this is shovels. It is used to take the casting sand or molding sand from the store. And we have a riddle. You know that what is the purpose of the riddle? And round shab, simple shabs are we are using, and types of rammers. By using these rammers only, we are going to give some force on the sand, so that without any gap it will be fixed, it will be merged with each and every other component. And there is hand rammer, floor rammer, and pin rammers are available depending upon the usage and finishing operation we have to use. Pneumatic rammers also available, and we will see where we are using and what are the types. And vent wires are available to make small vent. It is needed, and these lifters are used to lift the mold from the out. And foundry used to hand tools are like these bars, strikeout bars, etc. we are using. If the mold is perfectly filled with the mound sand, you can use the strike off to bar to remove the excess thing. So each and everything is important. And some of the items I have shown here. This is where we are going to use the shovels, and sleeves or riddles are used here to, so that you can take the fine sand over here. If you have any big particle and stone and other things, you can easily screen it here. And the hand rammer, we have both sides different projections to use it. And blows are used to produce the compressed air, so that the particular area will be cleaned. Okay. And then sleek and lifters are used. There's a flask. Okay. And you can see real time where I have taken some image on the website from the Foundry Shops tools, and you can see, and all the items are shown here. This is the molding box and wind wire items, etc. Rammers. And okay. And what are the process? First we have to put the piece or pattern. It's a two-piece pattern. Okay. And split pattern we can call. So first top we are taking. So it's there is two type of boxes are available: cope and drag in the casting process box. Okay, this is for top side is cope, bottom side is drag. First you have to take the drag box, put the first half of the specimen, then you fill with the sand. After that, using strike off bar, you can strike off the excess material. So you can use your hammer to give some forces from top to bottom, so that it will compressed and it will be stick with every each and every particles. Then after that, you have to reverse this upside down. Okay, after that you have to put the cope box, you have to put the alignment key, right? Then after that you have to put spore bin, etc., and gating items or etc., whatever you necessary. Then you have to put the same sand and do the same thing, ram. Okay, so after that you have to slowly remove these boxes and this more pattern, as well as these spore pin, gates, riser, etc. Then after that, again you have to align it properly. After that, if you want, you can go for vents. Yes, vent is needed for perfect pattern. So using vent wire, we have to make a small holes in from the top side sand. And finally you have to take the molten metal and pour it. It will come and occupy all the spaces. So each and everything have their own functions, I will tell you, right? And some of the drawings. So if you are asking to make a drawing for casting, please make any one of these, and you have to mark all the parts. Okay, don't simply give one or two parts, all the parts are needed. Try to utilize this figure, right? As you can see, riser, through riser only we can see at how much amount or how much length the molten metal was filled. Okay, if you have the vent, then any molten hot gas is formed over here, it will be escaped from gas vent, right? And some of the clear cut ideas. So pouring basin is always having this type of curvatures, so that is called radii. From a molten metal initially fall on this here only, after that it will reduce the velocity and it will go through here and it will go to the in gate or choke. Later it will pass through this area. Blind risers are used sometimes depending upon the applications. Then it will fill the mold cavity, right? Open riser is to visualize whether mold is filled or not, right? And this thing, main cavity. And chaplet is to support the core, and sometimes chillers are used to cool down the mold casting product as fast as possible, right? So I have already explained in the figure itself, so no need of explaining this thing. If students are need any explanation, you can go and watch. So thanks for watching. Subscribe my channel for more updates.